So as always, Kaegan and I are always having interesting chats, and today we just had a meeting about all the different video types. And I think one common misconception I hear a lot from our users and customers is when they think video, they have a very specific idea of what they think a video is. But in we watch a lot of user videos, we watch a lot of videos in general. What we generally find is there's dozens upon dozens, maybe even hundreds of different types of videos. So let's chat through some of those today. What are some of the different types of videos off the top of your head?
Yeah, well, one of the things that we're talking about today is the difference between a video that is presented from the perspective of an individual and a video that's presented from the perspective of a brand, right? So right now we have a video, it's me and Mike, it's about us, we're talking directly to the camera. But in other cases, you might want a video that's a little bit more formal, a little bit less kind of person-oriented. And that's really common with like large corporations if they want to make, something for LinkedIn, let's say.
Yeah, and I think there are some parallels with written content too. For example, a press release. A press release is the official brand speaking, which is different than like an opinion piece written by an exec at the company. And videos very much have that same dynamic as well, as if your company is delivering a company update and the brand, the logo wants to speak, they create what we sometimes call a faceless video. So it's not really built around any single individual. Usually those types of videos use a lot of imagery and illustrations, a lot of brand elements. And the purpose of those videos is to get a very specific point across, or a concept, or an important company update, much like a press release. Any other types of videos?
Yeah, I mean, I'll add on to that too, that those types of videos could still have a voice, let's say, but the voiceover might not be a person you're familiar with. It's just somebody who has, a really good, authentic speaking voice, versus the sort of personal videos, you really care about who's saying the things that are being said.
Yeah, I'll add to that. I think that's where AI voiceover has been really interesting, is if you are speaking through the perspective of an actual person at your company, it's so much easier to have them record a video. But if your brand is speaking, sometimes it's nice to have a roster of AI voices that are aligned with your voice and tone and pacing. And so that I think historically, before AI voiceovers became as great as they are now, the brand videos tend to be just text, or you go and hire a voice actor or a voice actress, and that takes a lot of time and back and forth. But nowadays, a lot of those brand videos are kind of powered by AI voices that are handpicked by the custodians of the brand. And as we browse through different tools like Lumen 5 or 11 Labs, there's all these options. Every company can go browse through thousands of different voices and find the one that matches the one that they're looking for. But that's the kind of the brand stuff. But a lot of times we scroll on social and there's a lot of non-brand content. Well, what are some of those video types?
There's so many. I mean, there's everything from, something like what we're doing right now, where you're taking a conversation, and in a lot of cases, it's maybe a much longer conversation, like it could be an hour-long TED Talk type example. And then it's been kind of broken down into a smaller chunk, for the social network. In other cases, people are recording content specifically for like that network, right? Like they're recording a 1-minute video, they know exactly what they want to say, and then they kind of just say it.
Yeah, and I think as a kind of the opposite of the brand voice, the brand video tends to be much more scripted, and you have a plan for what you're deliberately talking about. A lot of what we see on social are this type of more organic, casual type of content, which a lot of viewers tend to find to be quite engaging. And so, what I would recommend, and what I hear from a lot of our successful users and customers, is like, you're already having those conversations. Like Kaegan and I are already having these conversations, but it's not until the recent past that we decided to put a camera in front of these conversations, because we talk so much about marketing and videos, a lot of things that all of you care about as well. And it's a great takeaway for all of the conversations that you're having at your company, to just put a camera in front. Don't worry too much. Again, the brand speaking and the brand voice tends to have a higher bar for brand compliance, and you want everything to be perfectly scripted and say the right things. But in a casual social setting, there's less planning. Like, we literally just sat down and we're like,
for 30 seconds beforehand, we're like, roughly, what do we want to talk about? Okay, different types of videos, let's see.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely encourage you guys to make that kind of content as well. It gets easier over time, certainly. We're on, I think, week 2, so, you know.
And I think Kaegan touched on this where sometimes we end up having a long conversation, and that's great. You can post that original long-form conversation on a platform that favors longer-form videos like YouTube. But you can also trim these bits and pieces of insights and wisdom and have them in vertical format, and you can distribute that on like a TikTok or Instagram stories. And so there's lots of different ways to use all these different sorts of types of content. Another type of content that we've been experimenting as well is, we call it kind of the presentation content. So we'll have a slide deck, but if you just post a slide deck, it's kind of dry. A slide deck without a presenter doesn't quite work. And so you have your head in a little bubble and you're essentially presenting the slide deck, and the outcome is a video form. And that's another type of video that we see out there. Sometimes they're slides, sometimes they're screen recordings of people are talking about the product. And so as a kind of a midpoint recap, we've got the brand video, which tends to use a lot of visuals, sometimes stock images, but the brand voice, brand elements. There's the talking head type of video,
personal video,
influencers type of video, casual conversations. There's kind of the more structured learning and development type of video where it's a screen recording, a product walkthrough, a tutorial is a great example of that. So right off the bat, that's kind of 3 major types of video content. And when you're thinking about your content mix, you know, a lot of our users, I think, they think, I want to post more video, but it's not, you know, the right way is not just to post one type of video over and over again. It's just to mix it up. You want some brand videos, you want some casual conversation videos, you want some tutorial walkthrough videos just to keep it fresh so that as a follower, I think I very much view it as like when you're publishing a content strategy for your brand, you're almost running like a TV station, right? Throughout the day, you have different programming aimed at different audiences, different types of engaging with your brand. And yeah, anything to add on that?
No, I think I'm actually just curious for anybody watching this, what type of content have you created? What type of video content is working well for you? And maybe what type of content hasn't worked well for you?
Yeah, I feel like that's probably more interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
And share with us. I think we're always learning, we're experimenting as well, but we can wrap this conversation up here.
Cool.
Thanks for joining.